الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين بعثه الله شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. A couple of things before I start my short reminder. I think everyone's mentally exhausted. It's always that last half an hour where one completely switches off before iftar. So I don't want to make this long. I want to keep it very brief, concise and short. First thing I want to mention, my brothers, my sisters, and I've been saying this a lot in a lot of my lectures that I've been delivering at the different masajid, because we've been getting a variety of number of people coming to these lectures, to these programs, who might not necessarily come to the masjid, right? Who might not necessarily come to some of these Islamic events. Your interaction with one of the attendees today could be the reason why they either stop coming to an Islamic event, or it kickstarts their journey to attending these programs, which may potentially lead them to Al-Jannah. You may dress a certain way, my brothers and my sisters, but today you see someone who might be dressing a certain way or might not be wearing what you are accustomed to seeing at an Islamic event, and you begin to look down at them. You begin to look down at them. You begin to stare them down. You begin to give them these very negative vibes. Please, brothers and sisters, fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah says in the Quran, كَذَلِكَ كُنْتُم مِّن قَبْلِ فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. You were like that once upon a time. You were like that once upon a time. A lot of us, the overwhelming majority of us maybe here today, may not necessarily have always been practicing. I'll be the first to put my hand up, right? And it is actually one of the main causes as to why one may fall off from the religion. You're now practicing, you're maybe dressing a certain way, and then you see a sister or a brother who may be at a different stage of a journey, of the journey, should I say, and then you begin to look at them in a very funny way, brothers and sisters. This is number one. This is number one. Be someone who is welcoming. Be someone, my brothers and my sisters, who makes people feel comfortable, especially in settings like this. These university lectures are not just for people who, I'll put this in quotation marks, right, practicing people. Second thing, my brothers and my sisters, that I want to mention, and it's been playing a lot on my mind. The other day, when me and my friend Tariq, who's a driver, been driving me around quite a bit last couple of weeks, we're driving down to Manchester. We're driving up or down? Down, actually. Down to Manchester. I was on the M6, my brothers and my sisters, and there was a huge car crash. 4 cars, they crashed into one another. 4 cars. There was ambulances there. There was also a helicopter. I've never ever seen a helicopter. I'll say that again. I've never ever seen a helicopter on a British motorway. Never. And I do miles, for those who know. I do a lot of miles in the week. Just about every week, traveling out somewhere. I've never ever seen a helicopter on a British motorway. The helicopter was there picking up one of the casualties. This accident missed us by a very, very short period, guys. That could have been me. That could have been any of us. The moral of the story, the moral of me mentioning this to my brothers and my sisters, is that Allahu A'lam whether we will get another Ramadan. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best as to whether we will get another Ramadan. People who were sitting with us around the iftari table last year or the year before, they might not necessarily be with us this year round, guys. Agreed? My younger brother is one of them. He's actually quite a few years younger than myself. He's not around the iftari table this year. Right? point of the matter is, my brothers and my sisters, while you have the opportunity, while you have the chance, right? While you're still breathing, in the month of Ramadan, try to make the most of it. Right? Especially with the last 10 nights coming up. Fast. Very, very fast. Some of us, in these last 10 nights, we're going to be in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, begging Allah Azza wa Jalla for forgiveness, right? Crying our eyes out. However, some of us may well be planning on these last 10 nights, everything we want to do on the day of Eid. Right? On the greatest nights of the year, some of us are going to be planning, right, which girl we want to meet up with, right? Which car to rent out, which hotel room to book out. Remember, guys, we are not Ramadan Muslims. It's two kinds of individuals. You got the Ramadan Muslim who stays away from haram, and then he tells himself, on the day of Eid, I'm going to go do it. That's a Ramadan Muslim. I seen a screenshot going around on Twitter. I mentioned it the other day in the khutbah. The screenshot showed a girl saying, as soon as Maghrib kicks in, meaning the first of Ramadan, I don't want to see you till the day of Eid. And everyone's commenting, oh, mashallah, she's going to stay away from him for 30 days. Right? 30 days she's going to stay away from him. And then they're going to get back together again. Allahu Akbar. Right? This, my brothers and my sisters, is not right. It really, really isn't. That kind of mentality is problematic. However, you got the kind of individual who uses the month of Ramadan as a stepping stone. In the month of Ramadan, I'm going to wear my hijab. That's great. In the month of Ramadan, I'm going to spend more time in the masjid. That's great. And then you got guys sitting at the back of the masjid. As soon as this sister or this brother walks in, oh, this guy only comes to the masjid every Ramadan. Where is he the rest of the year? You are mistaken. As this individual now wanted to use this opportunity that Allah threw their way, better themselves. And that is because the scene has been set. Right? The doors of Jannah have been swung open and the doors of hellfire have been slammed shut. So for you now to look down at them or to think negatively about them, you are gravely mistaken. Right? Now to the reminder that I want to give. That wasn't even part of the reminder, guys. That was just an icebreaker to get to know you guys. My reminder, my brothers and my sisters, that I want to give, very, very short reminder, is about shyness. A lot of time when we mention shyness, what rushes to mind is, oh, sisters. No, guys. The Messenger ﷺ was more shy than a virgin girl inside of a room. Al-haya'u min al-iman. The Messenger ﷺ said, shyness is from faith. There's even a hadith when the Messenger ﷺ said, إِذَا لَمْ تَسْتَحِي فَاصْنَعْ مَا شِئْتَ. If you don't have any shyness, go and do as you wish. What does that mean? Right? I've now told myself I've got no shyness, I'm going to go and do whatever I want. No. Right? Scholars, they mention a number of meanings. I'll quickly mention ithnain. Two. Number one, at-tahdeed. Right? This commandment here is a threat. Huh? You don't have any shyness? See what's going to happen to you. Now sometimes we say this to people, right? Go and do that. Huh? See what I do to you after. Right? See how I'm going to deal with you. Are you brothers and sisters with me? Right? التهديد أربع ألفاظ بها الأمر دري افعل لتفعل اسم فعل مصدري وقد يساق في مساخ الخبر وبالجزاء ونحوه فاعتبري. All the way up until when he said ندب إباحة وتهديد أتى قصد امتثال ثم إذن ثبت is one of the meanings of a commandment. It doesn't mean go and do it. Likewise, Allah says in the Quran, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever from amongst you wants to go and do kufr, let him go and do so. Does that mean you can go and do kufr now? No. Right? It's a threat. If you don't come with shyness, then see what happens. The other meaning here, guys, is that this shyness serves as a barrier. You know the salah. What does the salah do? Sometimes an individual who's committing zina, who's selling drugs, comes to me and he says, oh, I don't feel comfortable praying. Shall I go and pray? And then the shaitan is whispering, oh, you're gonna, it's hypocritical, whatever have you. But we still tell that individual to pray. Why? What does the prayer do? Sabari, well, like who can quote the verse for me? Good. Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. The salah removes the filth and the evil from your life. We tell that individual, go and pray. So it is an action that protects him from further filth that he might engage in. Abraham sits with me. Shyness serves as a similar mechanism. You keep that shyness, it protects you from a lot of filth that may come your way. Right? And I want to now link that to the environment that we might find ourselves in, which is very, very toxic. Especially the university setting, where just about everything is saying, hey, talak, let's get it on. Right? The lady mentioned in Surah Al-Yusuf, the wife of Al-Aziz, after she locked him inside of the room, after she locked him inside of that chamber, she was going crazy over Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Right? We know that Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was gifted with half the beauty of mankind. Sahih? Utiya shatr al-husn. So after she locked all of the doors, she said, let's get it on. Right? She wanted to commit haram with him. Anyways, the point I want to make, my brothers and my sisters, is being around the opposite gender at times can cause your shyness to diminish. Agreed? Once upon a time, my brothers and my sisters, let's be honest with ourselves, we would think thrice about having a conversation with the opposite gender. Sahih? Agreed? You'd be like thinking about it, how am I going to say it to her? Wallahi, I'm not comfortable, and it's constantly debating with himself how I'm going to have this type of interaction and whatever have you. However, as time went on, we started becoming a lot more comfortable. How does that happen, my brothers and my sisters? How does it reach a point now where one is extremely comfortable around the opposite gender, one thing leads to another, and then eventually the unexpected takes place, which is what? Zina. There's a verse in Surah Al-A'raf that I want to stand over, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya bani Adam, قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم وريشا ولباس التقوى ذلك خير. Allah Azza wa Jal speaks about two types of clothing in this verse. Two types of clothing. The first type of clothing is the clothing that you wear. Everyone wears clothes, right? Clothing that you wear. Palmer's green, right? Huh? Yeah. Clothing that you wear to cover your awrah. Everyone's wearing clothes. Then there's another type of clothing that is mentioned, my brothers and my sisters. You know what that clothing is? The clothing of taqwa. Can you wear taqwa, guys? Is it something that you can actually wear? Is there a jumper called taqwa? That you take and then you wear, brothers and sisters? No. Right? There isn't. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in fact, he said that taqwa hahuna. Taqwa is inside of your heart. Are you brothers and sisters with me? There's your friend, sitting there. Spotting all of you guys. Are you brothers and sisters with me? Two types of clothing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in this verse. Let me show you guys the connection. Taqwa is in the heart, right? When you're around that opposite gender and you become extremely, extremely comfortable, one of the most common questions that I receive all the time, can men and women just be friends? Right? I have good intentions. We're just going to do our homework together and then we're going to go home. Right? Allahu Akbar. Right? One thing leads to another. The more you are around the opposite gender, that shyness diminishes, which means that taqwa of yours diminishes. The taqwa that's inside of your heart, my brothers and my sisters, that awe, that fear that you have of Allah Azza wa Jal. And I don't want to go too much into the definition of a taqwa, as Ibn Rajab mentioned, هو يجعل بينه وبين ما يَخَافُ وِقَايَةً تَقِيهُ مِنْ. It is that shield, that barrier that an individual places between himself and that which he fears, which is Allah Azza wa Jall's anger. Right? To do what Allah told him to do and to stay away from what Allah told him to stay away from. Ala kulli hal. The more you get comfortable, the more you're around that opposite gender, that taqwa diminishes, and that shyness is also going down the drain. And then what eventually happens? The first type of clothing comes off. One after the other. Agreed, guys? This clothing of a taqwa began to diminish. It began to get less and less and less and less. And that is because we let our guard down. Right? We didn't fortify ourselves being in these kind of environments, my brothers and my sisters. You might think to yourself, oh, this guy, look, here we go again. He's just being rough and tough, 21st century, backwards imam, right? This is just life, right? How we meant to function. Okay, no problem, guys. You can say what you want about me. I honestly don't mind. So many people have tried to get me cancelled, but they failed, right? Are you brothers and sisters with me? Guys, I would love to open up my Instagram and show you the amount of messages that I receive from university students who let their guard down, who are absolutely distraught, spiritually dead and empty, telling me, please, brother, help. They don't need money. She or he doesn't need a house. Advise me how to overcome this emptiness. I feel ashamed of myself. I committed a zina. I've become impregnated. Or the brother is saying, I thought nothing would come out of it. I thought it would just maybe be once. All the non-Muslims are doing it. I thought to myself, they are enjoying themselves. Just once I done it, and I feel absolutely empty, spiritually dead. Right? The libas of taqwa, the clothing of taqwa, brothers and sisters, it diminished, became less and less, which eventually led to the physical type of clothing that eventually came off one by one. And it all began with what? Because we let our guard down. Right? This is why, my brothers and my sisters, we have an inspiration in Maryam alayhi salatu wassalam, and also Prophet Yusuf, aka Joseph. Right? Maryam alayhi salatu wassalam, when she was approached by angel Gabriel, Jibreel, right? And he was there giving her the news that she was going to become pregnant of baby Jesus, Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. As soon as she was approached, what was her reaction? The theme for this month, guys, is the Quran. We're just taking little gems here and there from the Quran. Right? Inni a'udhu bir-Rahmani mink. I seek refuge in Ar-Rahman from you. If you are someone with taqwa, leave me alone. If you are taqiyan, leave me alone. This was her response. Right? This was her response. It wasn't just, oh, you know what? Let's just have these innocent chit-chats. Innocent chit-chats. Don't forget these two types of clothing, brothers and sisters, that are interlinked with one another. In kunta taqiyan, if you are a person of taqwa, stay far away from me. Likewise, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, right? When she locked him in, and she said, let's get it on, hey talak. And this is the university setting for you. Everything is inviting you to haram. Right? He began to seek refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal. He began to run to Allah Azza wa Jal. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. Right? إِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَى رَبِّي. Which is the state of the prophets. We go to our Lord, what Allah Azza wa Jal wants from us. Right? This is very, very important, guys. Otherwise, wallahi, it's never ending growing number of messages that I keep on receiving, my brothers and my sisters. Right? We gave the reminder, some listened and some didn't. But then this was the end result, people being absolutely distraught, broken. Right? Bear that in mind. I'll say that again. Ya bani Adam, قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم وريشا وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. O children of Adam, indeed we have set down upon you a libas, a clothing to cover your private part, to cover yourself up. وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى. And then Allah tells us about the clothing of the taqwa. Look what Allah says, that is better for you. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows what is more better for us, my brothers and my sisters. He is telling you, for you to hold on to this clothing of taqwa is far better for you. Right? And if you don't, you'll just be joining that ever-growing list of brothers and sisters who are messaging in, saying that they are absolutely spiritually dead and empty. That clothing of taqwa diminished, that shyness became less and less and less, brothers and sisters, which eventually led to the clothing that they were wearing coming off one by one. Right? This is the gem from this surah that I wanted to share, my brothers and my sisters. And I hope, inshallah ta'ala, you guys don't forget that. And I heard also Westminster is the best university in London. Allahu A'lam. We've got the one and only Abu Tarab. I think the whole row here is Queen Mary. Huh? Huh? Yeah, the Queen Mary, they came to the front. Huh? Inshallah ta'ala, brothers and sisters, I'm going to stop there, inshallah. May Allah honor every single one of you guys. Bless you all. You're all welcome. If this is the first event that you ever come to, you are welcome. Honestly, Westminster is one of the best, and Queen Mary is definitely up there as well. Huh? I never said Westminster is better than Queen Mary. Like, these are, mashallah, very good universities. My point is, please guys, don't start uploading things on TikTok. Huh? He's saying Queen Mary, and then he's saying Westminster, and then turns into... But guys, if this is the first time you've ever come, feel free to keep on coming. MashaAllah, it's a very good setup that is run by very good people. Right? Part of the South, right? Yeah. Picharo. I'll see you guys inshallah ta'ala. Tarawih, I think it is. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.